welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you're already part of the Sprinkle Squad. I'm so happy to see you again, and today we are working on, well, I'm going to call it a tiny home because it is pretty small, but technically by game standards, if you have like the tiny living pack, it's considered a small home, so you'll get some of those perks. Honestly, I think it's part of like, I did that little bump out at the top, and I think that counts towards the tiles, that kind of thing, but I didn't really know how to get around that. But I will say, when I started this build, I really wasn't exactly sure what I was going for, but I ended up really loving this house to begin with. It ended up like being this whimsical, colorful thing. I actually ended up Googling a whimsical home and kind of took some inspiration from that. So we ended up having this like very tall home. I think I did the short wall height on the first floor, but on the second floor I ended up doing, I think, the medium wall height just to give it that kind of look that I was going for. But I ended up doing like an overgrown yard and just, I don't know, I just really wanted it to be kind of just like a fun, kind of quirky build. Like, you know, nothing super serious. This has room for like 2 Sims. I ended up doing the whole second floor is just like the bedroom like space, kind of lofty kind of space, even though there's not like a direct opening to the bottom. It's just like by stairs, but there's not technically a door to go into the bedroom. And I ended up going kind of back and forth about like the wood tones and stuff I wanted to use on the outside of the home, but I think it came together super well. I ended up using kind of this light wood tone mixed with this like medium wood tone, and I think it turned out actually really nicely. And I end up using, I think it's, oh my goodness, is it the Romantic Garden? I can't remember. I have this like planter box that I use like all over the house, and I'm trying to remember exactly which pack it came from, but it was that really pretty kind of like hanging one that's got all the really nice colors. I ended up going with like a pastel color, and then we end up adding like some awnings, and basically I start layering all of this stuff on the house. So at the beginning it looks a little weird, I'm not gonna lie. Actually, I can't even say that it looks normal at the end, but I think it looks really cute at the end, if that makes sense. Like, it definitely has a particular personality like for your sim here. I don't know much about this sim that like I felt like would live here. I do end up putting like an easel and everything. Like, I thought maybe they'd be into art or something. We do put a chess table here as well, but it's in a computer, so your sim should have plenty to do and ways to get their skills up, but I really wasn't planning on it being like a specific career or anything like that. I just wanted to add stuff for your sim to be able to do. And then I've started adding that planter box that I was talking about, and kind of adding, I think that's the cottage living like cobblestone, I believe, that kind of has the flowers in between the stones. It's just like so pretty. I find myself like wanting to use it, but usually never using it, just because it's just so specific that it doesn't always look super great, but I think it looks super cute with this. And I do the yard last, but I do end up putting like a little pond out there and everything, and then I add that other random roof bump out piece there. I think that one's Strangerville, just based on the windows, and I do use a Strangerville windows kind of all over the house, and I thought that ended up looking really cute, kind of bringing in this like light yellow color. And then also here's like the awning I end up using in several places around the home, just because I thought it added a little something. And I do not have, like, I did not build access to that little bump out at the top there, although if you wanted to, you could probably add like a ladder to go up there if you wanted to add a little more space, but I didn't really include that just because I wanted the look more so than I planned on it being actual livable space. But then adding in some more flowers, I ended up putting like a fountain on the front of the house, like all kinds of stuff, just again, like basically going through, finding items and just placing it on the house. And I think it ended up, the more I added, I felt like it became a little more cohesive. And that sounds like, I feel like, a little weird. And then I just add a few trees out front just to kind of give me an idea of what I want, even though I don't come back to it until a little bit later. And then I will say that I have not updated my game yet. So the day I actually filmed this was the day that they did the, oh my gosh, what is the Sims like video or whatever? The behind the Sims, I think is what they call it. I always forget, but they ended up doing that and announced like a really cool base game update. And I'm so excited actually about all of those new items we're going to be getting. I believe are they the ones that coming out, I think, on February 4th for the actual like 25th anniversary. So that's super exciting. If you're someone that uses base game only, then you're going to have some great new items coming. And we do have some more kits coming as well. I think we have like 3 coming out tomorrow. So I'll try to get those when I can. I will say I do have like another build that I built before like any of those kits are coming out. So basically every time we end up like getting an update in the game, I do have a few mods in my games, mostly for like building and stuff. Like I do like UI cheats and better build by and tool mod I have in my game. And so like when we do an update, everything breaks. Like everything breaks, and it takes me a while to kind of get it put back together. And I know that all of the mod creators work so hard on fixing their mod and everything, so definitely no like, you know, I'm not saying that they should be going faster or anything like that. It's just one of those. I actually ended up today, I played a little bit and I ended up just putting my game like offline so that it didn't force the update, so that I didn't have to deal with a bunch of broken mods. So if you are someone who uses mods, that can be a way to like deal with that. Now, of course, I do want to go ahead and update it soon so I can actually get the kits and everything and all the new base game items. And I think is it an event that's coming up for some of the like birthday items as well. So I'm gonna be updating soon, but I wanted to go ahead and like build a couple things to give me a little time so I can actually get some builds out before like my game blows up, because I don't really use CC. I only use CC like on CAS, but anyways, I try not to do it for building, but I do have those mods that end up breaking. And I'm sorry I just like totally talked over the kitchen. I end up like, I don't know, I end up just doing a bunch of colors in here, and I honestly love this rug. This was the werewolf rug. Oh my gosh, why was that such a tongue twister? That it looks so cute in here, and using these paranormal curtains to go with it. I do end up actually swapping it later to the like deeper burgundy swatch for those. I think it looks a little bit better with the rug, because I actually end up using them upstairs as well and figure out that there's a really pretty swatch, so I end up swapping it. And I will say like the living space looks a little cramped and it looks a little bit odd, because I do end up putting one of the like love seat kind of couches in here, and it's kind of just at an angle, but your sim can get around. I did play test it, so you shouldn't have any issues. And on that note, this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery if you would like to download it under my ID Spice and Sprinkles, all one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to see it written out. And so you hopefully shouldn't have any issues. You may need to have the bb.move objects on as always when you download any of my builds, and to make sure your sim can like get around and all of that. But I just thought it looked really cute, and I wanted to make sure that there was enough seating area here in case your sim had people come over, that kind of thing. And we have a small little dining table as well, and I use that Love Struck wallpaper, the like floral wallpaper. I am in love with that wallpaper. Like I feel like I want to use it all of the time just because I think it's so pretty, but it is a very specific wallpaper, if that makes sense. Like I try to use it, and I feel like it's, what was it, was it Paranormal that had the other floral one that we got a while ago? And again, another one of those wallpapers that I always want to use, but you know, finding a build that it really looks good in can be a little bit difficult. Oh, or maybe it was Decor to the Max. Maybe it came with that's what I'm thinking about. But anyway, so like I feel like we have a few of those in the game that I want to use, but just it doesn't always fit. And then I end up using this shelf on the wall that I don't think I basically ever use. I actually don't even remember which pack that's from. Is that from like Island Living or Paranormal, something like that? But I thought it looks really cute in there, just kind of adding a little more space. And in case you didn't know, your sim can cook on corner counters. So I did a lot of cluttering on that end counter, but I left that corner counter completely empty to make sure your sim is able to cook. But your sim can cook on that, in case you didn't know that. And I like to mention that periodically because it feels like one of those things like your sim wouldn't be able to do, but they actually can. And also I ended up using that like 1x3 tile bathroom for this, since it is a smaller home, just to give me a little more space. And in case you didn't know, if you build a bathroom like this, it is completely functional. You just put the shower kind of right in front of the door, and it's totally still usable. You just have to use one of the ones like the freestanding showers, you know, the ones that doesn't have the encasing. I guess we have 3 now. I think it was Snowy Escape, University, and Love Struck, I think, are the 3 that we have. I believe that's all of them. So if you have one of those packs, you have access to that specific shower that will let you do that. Otherwise, you can make this, the bathroom just a little bit bigger, but I like doing that just to buy myself a little more space. And up here, I use that beautiful wallpaper again. I feel like we're slightly eclectic too in this build, which it turned out being really cute up here. I really do love the way the bedroom turned out. I feel like in my screenshots, I definitely included several screenshots of this bedroom. I just felt like it was so cute. I actually almost ended up putting a piano up here, but it actually didn't quite fit, but because I ended up wanting to make sure I had like an office space. But I do put the gem cutting table up here as well, so again, just something for your sim to do. I do try to like put all that kind of stuff in here. Of course, you can swap it out if that's not something you want your sim to do, but then including that like pile of books there at the end of the bed. And I believe that bed is the one we got with the recent, oh my goodness, Life and Death pack. The other day I couldn't remember the name of that, but I'm pretty sure that's the name of it. I don't know what it is about the new packs. I'm like having a hard time remembering them all. Maybe it's just because we have so many at this point, and now with 3 new kits coming out tomorrow, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm definitely gonna start forgetting where everything came from. But anytime I can get new items, I'm always excited about it. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, I know people have mixed feelings about kits and all that kind of stuff, and honestly, I totally understand that. I don't know. I love items for the game. I wish, maybe they didn't come out quite as often, or maybe they did bigger versions, or maybe it wasn't too, like, as expensive. Like, $5 for a kit isn't bad. It's just when you have a bunch of kits, it definitely ends up adding up. But using that beautiful painting we got there in Love Struck, I thought it ended up looking so cute there. And I will say, since I had to just like manually lift that plant in the corner because of the stairs, it doesn't disappear when you put the walls down, so just a heads up. So if that bothers you, you can delete it, but I just thought it looked really cute over there. And just adding that, I think, added a little bit of something in the corner. And over there with the gem cutting table, I did put one of the little cabinets on the wall as well. So if your sim does make something, then you can, put stuff in that little cabinet. And just kind of adding more detail outside, just some like ivy kind of going up the side as well, I think just adds a whole lot to this build. I feel like the back of the house, there wasn't a lot going on, so adding that, I feel like just made it look a little more put together. And then just adding a couch out front here. I feel like I never used that couch, but I thought it looked kind of cute with this build. And then, like I said, I end up adding just a bunch of plants out here, like all of the plants. I do end up using a lot of like purple and everything, and I end up actually in like that left portion of the yard, I've got a couple of areas that are like really dense with like a bunch of flowers and everything. But in the middle, I kind of left it open, and what I did is actually go into debug/live edit, and especially in cottage living, they have these like patches of like sporadic like grass and flowers, which ends up filling out that space really well, even though I didn't necessarily put something there. And of course, if you download this and want to add some more stuff to your yard or another skill building item, of course you can do so. And I feel like with landscaping, I always tell myself I'm not going to do a lot, and then I end up doing it anyways. I just find it actually very fun and very like soothing to just kind of layer. And I feel like that's kind of my advice if you were wondering or wanting advice about landscaping. Just kind of start with a few pieces that you like, and then just kind of start layering. Have a few taller plants, some shorter ones. Like I love doing like a low-lying plant, kind of like those purple ones from Island Living there. And again, especially using Debug Live Edit, definitely highly recommend for doing landscaping, just because there are like extra swatches in there and just extra plants that you don't usually have access to in the game. So or by default anyways. And so it just it helps to be able to layer stuff like that, and then just kind of filling all of that in. I keep saying I need to do something with more minimalistic like landscaping, but it's just very hard for me. And I also definitely encourage you to use like rocks, and again, there's a bunch of them in Debug Live Edit, so you can grab those as well. I think the ones I'm using there, that little cluster, I think is from the Riviera kit, I believe, and I thought about putting a car, but it just, I don't know, it didn't look right. So I end up actually just putting more like flowers and everything, and that's where I end up putting the chess table, which I thought was actually, it looked really cute out there. I kind of put it on a diagonal. Again, I feel like that just kind of adds to like the whimsical feel of this home. Again, not really sure the sim that lives here, but I just end up thinking this looks so cute out here. I didn't put the little sign so that you could fish in that pond. I just kind of used it for aesthetic purposes, and then I end up using, I think that little lantern is from Life and Death. I end up putting that around. I try to light up all the landscaping because I think it really adds something to the space, as well as terrain paint. So that's kind of my other tip, is just like adding terrain paint around all of this, like all the plants and everything, or even around sidewalks, around the house, that kind of thing, because it just makes it look a little more realistic to me anyways. So again, that's just like another tip I kind of like to talk about a little bit, like kind of why I do what I do when I build, if in case you are curious about it. And then just, you know, again, going in with just extra bits here and there. And I also end up putting in a screenshot of the build at night at the end of the screenshots. Be sure to stick around for that because I think it looks so pretty. I usually don't do that, but this build just looks so pretty at night. I had to add it. But if you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye, everybody.